Welcome to a special Plastics News Live. I'm live in Dusseldorf, Germany, where Messe Dusseldorf has just wrapped up a media preview of K 2022, the world's largest and most influential plastics trade show. I'm Plastics News Editor Don Lupp, and my guests are Ms. Petra Kuhlmann, Executive Director of Messe Dusseldorf, and Mr. Ulrich Reifenhauser, the Chairman of the K 2022 Exhibitors Committee Board and the Chief Sales Officer of Reifenhauser Group. Good afternoon to both of you.
Good afternoon, Don.
Hello, good afternoon.
Hello. So I know that you're both enthusiastic about being poised to host the first global plastics trade fair since 2019. So we have a lot to talk about today. But before we get started, I'd like to encourage viewers to submit their questions via the email that you're seeing on the screen. We'll get to as many questions as we can today, and at the end of the program, we'll also share contact information with our guests. I'd also like to encourage you to connect with us on social media, including LinkedIn. So now let's get to the questions. So we're going to start with sustainability, of course. The emphasis on sustainability has only increased, and it was the #1 trend in 2019. Every exhibitor seemed to have a sustainability story, and many exhibitors highlighted how the plastics supply chain was collaborating on strategies to make plastics a part of a circular economy. So I'm going to address this question to Mr. Reifenhauser. So do you agree that the issue has been growing in importance, and do you expect it to be in the forefront in 2022?
Honestly speaking, an easy question, and my answer is loud and clear answer is yes. Sustainability will be in the forefront of this K show. But let me add also, in 2019, we also talked and discussed sustainability. But in those days, 3 years ago, it was more about thoughts, about ideas, about visions, and about action plans. Now, K22 will be different, will be next level. Because in the last 3 years, we did a lot of work and we realized quite a lot of plans. And now it's about actions, it's about results, and it's about new products, new processes. Things get realistic concerning this subject. But nevertheless, it's not only circular economy, it's recycling, what is circular economy, but it's also digitalization and climate protection. These subjects are all together and very important.
I noted that in the media preview, we heard from many leading companies, and the companies, they definitely had exactly what you have in mind. They were talking about specific goals that they had to meet, that they were pledging to, and they were talking about how they were going to get to them. And there was a lot of talk about carbon neutrality, which was different, something that I really didn't hear so much in 2019. So what are global visitors coming to K looking for to help them meet all of the voluntary and legislative goals, and for making products more recyclable, use more recycled content, and lower their carbon footprints? Petra, would you like to handle this one, or for Mr. Reifenhauser? Okay.
I think, well, I can take it, but I think it's also a question that is very important to discuss with Ulrich Reifenhauser. You know, last edition, at last K already, the industry underscored the need for functional circular economies along the entire chain of production. And the industry presented for the first time concrete solutions to this end. And K22 ties in with this and will showcase the plastics and rubber industry undergoing a transformation process. And the industry assumes not only responsibility, but takes the lead in such important issues as climate protection, as mentioned before. So the three leading topics, climate protection, circular economy, and digitalization, are the three hot topics of the show this year. And they will be omnipresent in the solutions and innovations presented by the exhibiting companies, but also at the specials that K is organizing this year. So first and foremost, we have the special showcase in Hall 6 called Plastics Shape the Future. It's organized by Plastics Europe together with Messe Düsseldorf, and it will serve as the discussion forum where a lot of these issues and the hot topics, the pressing trends will be discussed among experts and stakeholders of the industry, as well as scientists, representatives of user application industries, as well as NGOs. So this is a platform for discussions among these really important issues that the industry and challenges the industry is facing. Second is we have a very big forum, a circular economy forum organized by the VDMA. By VDMA and the member companies, 30 member companies will be represented there, and they will show what state-of-the-art solutions and technologies are there in order to provide circular solutions for the entire plastics industry. And there will also be lectures and exchange of best cases and so on and so forth. So it's a lot of things to find out there. It's in the open space between halls 10 and 16. And we also have the science forum in Science Campus in Hall 7A, where at the interface of business and scientific community, latest research results and developments from the scientific academic side will be discussed with industry representatives and business owners. So all these really important and pressing issues can be followed up with at these specials within the show, but of course also at most of the exhibitors will present solutions and products and new developments into this sector, into these developments and into these trends and issues.
Okay, thank you. Here's a question for Mr. Reffenhauser. So I feel, my opinion is that several major trade shows have been canceled because of the pandemic, which I feel has been a missed opportunity for the industry to learn more about plastic circularity. So the result is that K 2022 may be the first real opportunity to catch up on these trends since the last K in 2019. Do you feel that the global plastics industry is making enough progress on the path towards circularity?
Yes, progress is internationally there. But as always, if we have important subjects, solutions are never show up globally. So there are certain national industries and who are more pioneering. And so is the North and Central Europe. There, really the industries do a lot of work. And let me focus really very much. Focus the much I can and look at the company Reifenhauser, my company, and I can tell you we did a lot, and we will come up with surprisingly informations and novelties. But also the VDMA and the European machine builders will show nice results, and also European converters and the resin producers. So there are strong actions and good progress. And hopefully the K will be the ideal promotion to bring this information out in the world, and so that this will cause global plastic activities in this subject.
Okay. Yeah, I feel that Europe is probably ahead of many other places right now, and the opportunity for people in other markets to learn more about what Europe is doing to make progress on these sustainability goals is very important. I think that they're just not taking it seriously enough yet. So we're emerging from a global pandemic where much of the economy shut down, but plastics companies stayed open, making critically needed PPE, medical equipment, packaging, and other products needed to battle COVID-19. So when the economy reopened, the plastics industry quickly adjusted, but many challenges, including material shortages, supply chain disruptions, and worker shortages, have now been hitting the industry. And now there's also the Ukraine crisis impacting the global plastics industry. So maybe we could start with this as a question for Mr. Reifenhauser again, and then Ms. Coleman, if you'd like to jump in. So what are your thoughts do you have on the state of the global plastics industry in 2022 coming out of the pandemic?
Mhm. First of all, let me resume the last 2 years, and I can tell you, after a shock when pandemic really picked up, the demand for plastic came up again, and it showed the importance of plastic, and plastic was really needed. So the demand for new, improved plastic was there, and the real good fact is that the order books of German machine builders, for example, are really, really full. So we have a lot to do, and besides a lot to do and a lot of orders, we do a lot of R&Ds. But talking about the situation right now, the situation is not the best because the international trading is no more working. And okay, you build the machines, but you buy in a lot of things, and these things do not function, and we are extremely hindered in building machines. So, but these are problems, and somehow the industry is used to problems. We are working on that, and we will come out and we will deliver the machines. But yeah, the state of plastic industry is good. Plastic did grow and was needed, dramatically needed.
So a related question for Ms. Kuhlmann, how do you think K will have changed since the pandemic? And will it benefit from people wanting to network in person again? And is the world ready for that to happen?
Absolutely. The pandemic has almost put the entire trade fair business globally to a full stop. So fortunately, K can be held in Düsseldorf again in line with the 3-year cycle. As you mentioned on the last show, the last K in 2019 was the last show during until now. So in 3 years' time, there has been no international platform for me or meeting point whatsoever. And we are very glad that we can keep the dates, 19th to 26th October in Düsseldorf. And we learn that people are longing for real platforms now. They want to touch technology. They want to watch technology live. They want to try out, and they want to discuss with their fellow market partners on the key issues of their sectors. They want to have a face-to-face interaction and networking. And they're also looking forward to coincidental meetings that you come across only at international trade fairs. So from our understanding, K22 comes precisely at the right time in order to provide orientation to the plastics and rubber industry on a global scale after all these changes that have been induced by the pandemic. So the response from the exhibitor side has been overwhelming. The who is who of the global plastics and rubber industry will be again represented in the Düsseldorf Exhibition Center, with all our 19 exhibition halls being fully booked and on a net exhibition space of almost 177,000 square meters. And we are organizing we have been organizing a lot of presentations around the globe in order to promote K2 visitors. And also there, wherever we went to, wherever we were, people were really longing for face-to-face meetings. They wanted to come to a platform to have really real interaction, physical interaction with partners and with suppliers, and to see innovative products and technology. And we have started, our business restarted in the month of May. And since then, we had 4 international trade fairs here at the exhibition center at Düsseldorf, Messe Düsseldorf. And the response has been very, very good. The people from various industries have been really longing for these meeting places. They want to come and see what's new, and they want to really, they are slightly, there have been so many discussions, digital discussions, and everybody has been in interaction on screens, but especially when it comes to a technology show, when you can see live performances, machines, and you find the entire value chain at your hand, and you can dig into details with those suppliers who present innovations. It's just fabulous. So we are looking forward to a very dynamic and very, very hopefully very successful K in October. And I would say, yes, people are definitely ready, and they really long for trade fairs live mode.
Let
Yes,
them, somebody who is really engaged in that, let me have a word on that. Yes, we are so hungry to come to K-Show. And it was good that digital conversation was one mean to do and to keep in contact. But honestly speaking, if you want to make business, if you want to explain your ideas, your visions, if you want to find partnerships, if you want to strengthen friendships, you cannot do this to the screen. You have to meet, you have to sit, you have to eat, have a good drink, and really live life. Bring life to a fair like K, and this is a wonderful feeling, and the exhibitors are really so much excited to come in October to Düsseldorf to K.
very positive attitude. I noted that in your presentation, Ms. Kuhlmann, earlier this week, you also talked about that if there were restrictions because of a pandemic, that Messe Düsseldorf has made preparations, and that you feel comfortable going on with the show with maybe a different plan than what you've had in the past.
Yes, definitely. I mean, we have gone through a difficult time, and even in the years 20 and 21 altogether, we were allowed to organize 5 shows and international shows, and we have worked on with the state government on various concepts, and we are well prepared. At the moment, there are no restrictions whatsoever to organize trade fairs here in Germany. And so the shows that are running at this time, we have Wire and Tube show now here in Düsseldorf in this week, and also other shows we have been organizing recently. They have had no limitations or restrictions whatsoever. But we have done, of course, a lot of planning in the past years, and we are prepared to respond to any potential regulation that might come up, but at the moment it doesn't look like there's anything coming up. And just for your info, we have equipped the entire exhibition center and conference center with air filters, so-called HEPA filters. They are they're very highly efficient, and they provide almost clinically clean air into all the halls and the conference center as well. So we are well prepared to respond first of all, we are offering a very safe environment for participants in our products here in Düsseldorf. And secondly, we are prepared with all kinds of plans we have used in the past. We have an expert team that can deal with any ideas or regulations that might come up this year or next year, but at the moment, also the entire trade fair business in Germany is back to business as usual, and we are confident that this will stay like that.
Okay, very good. So, Mr. Reifenhauser, thinking about the challenges that plastics converters are facing, which I preface these questions with, Ukraine, supply chain issues, inflation. Which ones do you feel are the biggest concerns that you're seeing from your customers, and how could they help deal with those issues by coming to the K-Show?
Yes, the converters do have quite some challenges. And one important challenge is right now the shortage and the price developments of resins. It's really too bad what the resin situation is how the resin situation is showing up. So that is one thing. Another thing, and this is ongoing, is that it's workforce related. Young people are no more really interested in working in shifts working in a production. They like to sit at a computer, like to go home at 5 o'clock, and this is a problem. So and what another big problem is the reputation, is the image of plastics. So we have to do a lot to and we have solutions for that. The image, for sure, it's circular economy, and we have to work on solutions that recycling is possible, and yes, we will show up. And concerning to make this job more interesting, we should bring up, and we do, nice and automated machines, so that the work in the companies is much more easy and more interested. We also do a lot of designing work, so the machines look much more nicer, much more brighter, and these are things to somehow make the problems of converters, our customers, more easy.
Well, we can get into more depth on some of those topics in a minute. First, let's talk a little bit about what's new at the fairgrounds, what visitors need to know in advance, and some tips for first-time attendees. For Ms. Kuhlmann, can you describe for someone who's coming to the K Show for the first time what they should expect?
Well, I'm recommending to anybody who's into the business to come to see K live. It's the number one trade fair of the global plastics and rubber industry, and that's now for 70 years. And there is the whole world is represented. There's an enormous amount of international participation, and the diversity of the offerings of the exhibitors is guaranteeing that the complete global range of product solutions and trends are being represented here. And even in special segments, from all kinds of materials to technologies. A first-time visitor will encounter the largest number of world premieres and the highest level of innovation. K has always been the platform for innovation, and you will not find any this level of innovation anywhere else in the world. And of course, you find all technology in live mode. I mean, our machines are running, they are producing on site. You can really discuss, when you're interested in technology, what this machine can do with the provider, with the machine builder, and really see how it's working. Well, if you are interested it's not only the plastics, it's the representatives of the plastics and rubber industries itself, but the customer industries are also visitors for K, and I recommend anybody who's in decision-making position in the automotive, packaging, electronics, communication, construction, or medical or aerospace industries. They can make use of the plastics and rubber industry experts who will illustrate to them the current and visionary applications at K in Düsseldorf as the global marketplace for innovation. And well, when you come for the first time, you will be part of the world's most important platform where the hot topics of the industry are being discussed and jointly addressed in an intense exchange between industry, science, research, and the most important international associations as well. So that's why we call it sometimes it's the lighthouse for the industry. So if you are in the business, if you enter this dynamic and fascinating industry, come to K to get an overview, what the future holds for the industry, and enter into discussions face to face with the experts who are here, and experts from all countries around the globe. So make use of this opportunity. It's only every 3 years that you can have this at your hand.
Let me ask a follow-up question. So it's such a big show, though. So how can people plan in advance to make the most of the visit? And also for people who are returning, what's going to be new this year? I think you touched on it in one of your earlier answers. You talked about some of the new items, but.
Yes, Don. I think I've mentioned that there are roughly 3,000 exhibitors from all around the globe. There is a very big exhibition center, which is completely booked inside and outside the halls. So I think for anybody who comes to the show, a good preparation would be good in order to make best use of the time you have available. The show takes 8 days, but we hardly have anybody who comes to visit the show for 8 days. So it's probably 3 or 4 days when you come from abroad, from overseas especially. So prepare your visit. First of all, logistics, travel logistics are important. Book your flight early, book your hotel accommodation early, because the city is going to be full, and even the surrounding towns and villages and cities. So, and then use our digital tools. We have a lot of service tools online at k-online.com in order to give visitors services to make the most of their visit. That means you can find, you have there is a function called, once you have registered in the ticket shop, there's a My Organizer function with which you can really select the exhibitors or the parts of the offerings you're most interested in, and you can organize your own small catalog and your guideline through the exhibition. You can make appointments with exhibitors. We have a very new matchmaking tool that gives you the possibility to search for those suppliers of materials or technology, whatever you're most interested in. Select those beforehand, get in touch, make appointments to be sure that you have a seamless journey towards the show, that you make most of your time, and of course leave some time for coincidental meetings and encounters. That happens all the time. But there are a lot of tools at hand that you can use in order to plan your stay efficient. And for those who have been at K, I think they know about the size of the offerings, the possibilities that the show offers, and what is new, the topics Ulrich Reifenhäuser has mentioned before. The topics of this time, this edition of K, will be climate protection and digitalization and circular economy. And there are a lot of new things to discover at the show and at the specials. I mentioned in the beginning of the 3 specials of the show, the VDMA Circular Economy Forum, the special show Plastics Shape the Future, as well as the science area. We have added a startup pavilion this year for the first time, where young companies, companies with very interesting developments, they show innovation and look for partners. And we have also introduced, of course, in order to be also at the top of communication processes, we have enhanced and enlarged our digital offerings, not only on the service level, those I've mentioned, but also in order to use the content and the contact and the community that is within K already. We have introduced new digital formats in order to get information on the industry, get information on K, and get information also on the location for K, Düsseldorf. And I'd like to mention the K-Mag, the magazine that's online already for a year, that has been published for a year already. There you get insights, news. It's very interesting in order to also get acquainted with latest news, and they're all paying into the hot topics of K as well. And it's very useful magazine, or source of information in order to, in the run-up of K. Then we have the K monthly newsletter. It's easy to subscribe to. We compile a lot of extracts from the K-Mag and also useful information on K itself. And the K app has been worked on, so it's a very new and easy to handle and easy to operate app. The exhibitor database is on there. So there are a lot of digital tools and services in order to get information, latest information to prepare yourself in order to participate at K, being as exhibitor or especially also as visitor. Make use of all these. And if you have still any questions, please get in touch with our team or with our representatives all around the globe. We are our daughter company, Messe Düsseldorf of North America, for those US citizens, and for other countries, there are always colleagues of ours available and close by in order to help you with any queries or questions you may have.
Okay, very good. So we're going to go into some more depth on some of the issues facing the plastics industry. But before we do, I'd first like to remind viewers that you could submit your questions to pnevents@crane.com, and we'll also get to those. And we'd like to once again hear from today's sponsor. Today's sponsor is Messe Düsseldorf, the organizer of K 2022. Okay, very good. So I promised that we would get into workforce issues again. So I wanted to know. So Plastics News has been polling its readers for decades, and workforce-related issues has always been either number one or number two concern. There's a perpetual skills shortage that seems to have only gotten worse. So, Mr. Reifenhauser, do you agree that the issue has gotten worse? And what do you think the problem is? Why does the plastics industry seem to have this perpetual skills shortage?
Mm-hmm. Yes, I think it's a problem worldwide, and it's getting worse because it's young people do not really love to work on shifts, stand beside big machines, and somehow are dominated by the speed and by the output of the machines. So yes, it's gotten worse. And what do we do, the machine builders? We try to automate the machines. We try to bring control, quality control, into night shifts because there you have the most scraps. We try to make the machine self-regulating. We try to talk now that the machines can clearly tell when the maintenance should be. And we automate the heavy work, so big rolls are not carried away, but some machines are doing this job. So the problem is getting worse, and sometimes even they have to cut shifts because not the skilled workers are available.
I think coming out of the pandemic, there are quite a few companies that, like the machinery companies with their full order books, converters and processors also had plenty of business. And maybe the one thing that was holding them back was not having enough workers. Do you think that the industry's reputation has any impact on the ability to recruit new workers, or the reputation of manufacturing in general? And are there good opportunities for careers in plastics?
The opportunities for plastics for sure is, and will be dramatically good. And we saw this during pandemic. This world, as we know this world, cannot exist without plastics. And when we talk about climate protection, if you forget about plastics, climate protection and the CO2 footprint would explode. So there are lots of reasons why plastic is important and why plastic will grow. And I promise and I bet that plastic is growth. So yes, are there chances for good careers in plastics? Yes, there are chances for good careers in plastic, and there are always chances for innovative engineers, brains, because plastic industry has to change. It will change. So we need new products. We need new recyclable products. We need smart solutions. It's a very, very lively industry, and it's today and it will be tomorrow.
So you've mentioned digital manufacturing a few times. Digital manufacturing, I think the first time that I came across that topic was at a K show, and then suddenly it was everywhere. Although I'm wondering, has it become more widespread, and is it making the progress necessary? I know a lot of companies, they buy equipment and then they wait for it to be, I don't know, they run it. They're not necessarily always adding the latest technology and utilizing some of the digital manufacturing tools that are available to them.
Digitalization and mechanical engineering goes together. We have to show up with automatic machines to control the process, to control the quality, and people are really taking care when they are deciding for new machines that the machines automation, digitalization is at its best. And we even do have chances for upgrades on older machines that we offer to those converters. Why not improve your machine, improve your output, improve your quality control? And so this is not a bad business for the time being, to sell upgrades on digitalization, new digitalization in old machines.
Okay. I have a few questions from viewers. Let me address this one to Ms. Kuhlmann. Will K 2022 be catering to an online audience? Maybe people might be referring to virtual trade shows and things like that.
Well, we have done virtual trade shows in the past 2 years, and we are very glad. And the result was that the industries reflected to us that that virtual meetings or virtual trade fairs will not replace the real thing. So we are looking forward now that we are very glad that we can organize face-to-face and physical trade shows again, because that's what the industries want and need to get orientation, and for all the reasons already mentioned. So K will be a physical trade show here in Düsseldorf in October for 8 days again. And what we have, of course, added, and I've mentioned it before, or I've touched it, we have digital extensions to K. That means we have much more. We've developed tools and communication formats in order to prepare for the show, in order to stay in touch with the content that will be presented at K before and afterwards. And the exhibitors database is online. The exhibitors database will be updated and all the time, and then will remain available after the show. We have the digital communication tools I've mentioned, the matchmaking tool in order to get in touch with exhibitors online. We have the of course newsletters, and we have the K Talk. This is a format we have recently introduced this year. That's a completely digital format, a talk with experts from the industry and with scientists on relevant topics in relation to applications for plastics. That means that's a monthly format. The next format will happen at the end of June, on the 30th of June. The next K Talk will deal with how polymers are changing the automotive industry. So this one is concentrating on the automotive industry. We have had talks discussing issues related to medical application, to electronics, to the topic of digitalization within the industry has been discussed, and others as well. So every month up to the show in October, we will have a talk, an expert talk that puts a flashlight on the really hot topics in relation to the main applications for plastics. This is something very new, and I just suggest you to follow those on K Online or on K social media. And some of the contents of live K event in October will also be streamed. Probably most of the content in the show Plastics Shape the Future and others as well. So there will be some live content or content on demand at the show. But the focus for K is that the global plastics industry and all the related industries come together in Düsseldorf to interact physically and to see what's live, what's on in innovation on the material as well as on the technology side. So that's our main focus, the physical K show in October.
Sure. The K Live, one topic that you didn't mention, we talked about climate and carbon in our first one, which I had the opportunity to moderate, which we participate in, which was a lot of fun. So. Another question from a viewer, which I think was also, an easy one. So how often does the trade show take place, yearly or every couple of years? And you've mentioned a few times that the last one was in 2019, and it just so happens that it occurred on schedule just before the pandemic, and this one is going to occur on schedule as well. So it's the cycle is every 3 years.
Yeah, correct. And it's the K show has started 70 years ago, so the show celebrates its 70th birthday. So we're looking forward to a nice event here to celebrate this occasion. And K has had a 3-year cycle for some decades now. It used to have 4-year cycle. When it started in 62, it became a trade fair. And now it's since the 80s we have a 3-year cycle, and that's why the whole world comes together every 3 years. So everybody is geared up to this cycle, and innovations are prepared alongside with this cycle of the show. So this is how we interact and work together on the concept of the show with the industry, and that's why we have the 3-year cycle. Yeah. So the next opportunity would be in 2025 only. So don't miss the chance to come now.
Very good. Some of the companies who were presenting this week noted that they have been at every show in 70 years, and they included photos in their presentations of their very first booth, which were their stands, the European word, which were fun to see. So when I talk to converters, some say that they aren't really being asked yet by their customers to use more sustainable raw materials or to change how they design products to be more circular. So getting back to the issue of sustainability, Mr. Reifenhauser, for example, a medical supplier might be required to use virgin resin. So when I talk to them about sustainability, they say it doesn't really apply to them. So do you expect that the circularity trend will soon impact converters and processors in sectors beyond single-use plastics packaging?
It for sure will, and it does. So, circular economy is mainly driven by these ugly pictures of marine litter, and all this is single use. So this is, a real the biggest problem for image, and we are working on that. But also some long-lasting products, they will be, and they are recycled. And there's a good example, for example, PVC window profiles here in Germany. They last for 40, 50 years. When a PVC window is broken down to be renewed, then all the profiles get to one place, and the recycling quota for PVC windows is close to 90% here in Germany. So this is a good example, and also the rubber wheels of cars. The industry is looking forward extremely to recycle rubber wheels, and we all know that cars, as it and computers and mobiles, all are thought and planned to be recycled, and quite a lot of them are already recycled. So yes, the recycling the idea of recycling will not be only used for single use, but will also used for different plastic materials products.
You brought up the automotive market, and there's so much changing in the automotive market right now with mobility issues, the changes to car interiors, car exteriors, and also, of course, electric vehicles versus internal combustion engines. And it seems to me that the material suppliers are looking at this as it's a major opportunity for them to make cars lighter and to capture market share in some products where they currently don't exist. And I think they're also looking at it and saying, well, if we're going to do this, we also need to make sustainability and circularity part of what we're going to do, of what we're proposing to use our materials in these new electric vehicles, that there has to be an end of life story for them that has to be part of it. So what do you expect? How do you expect the industry to change in the coming years, especially related to circularity? Do you think that there's going to be less virgin resin produced? And is it going to be replaced by mechanically or chemically recycled polymers, or maybe bio-based polymers? Do you have an opinion on that?
I do have an opinion on that. First of all, there will be more recycled material, no doubt. And these recycled material will find a place in the product. But I come back to that a little bit later. But will there be less virgin? No, there will not be less virgin, because you will see that the plastic production will show a growth. It will show a growth, and there will be an additional growth by more recycled material. The recycling technology will be mainly mechanically. I think the chemical recycling is one possibility, but the carbon footprint on chemically recycled material on this process is not the best. So it's concerning CO2, much more effective or better to do a mechanical recycling. The bio-based polymers are a niche, and they will stay a niche. And the problem is, if you have a bio-based and you want to recycle this, and these products will look very similar to normal polymer products, is a mess, is a real big mess. So these are also, this will grow, but it will stay a niche. So answer is it will be mostly mechanically recycled. Chemical will be there, but because of carbon footprint limited, and bio-based polymers will be a niche, my opinion. If you ask the bio industry, they might answer differently.
It's an interesting opinion for me when I think, well, Reifenhauser Group is a company that is you're making film, your customers are making pouches and trays and products like that. And when you look at how the industry is trying to become more circular, that's one of the areas where people are saying, well, chemical recycling needs to play a greater role in order to handle these materials that are not recycled so much. At the same time, it seems that companies like yours, working with partners, are making efforts to help converters make their products easier to recycle, so that maybe those products can be mechanically recycled in a cost-effective way, and they don't need to lean on chemical recycling in order to become circular. Is that what you agree with me?
Yeah, I absolutely do agree with you. If we really predict a very, very strong circular business, circular economy in 5 years' time, we first have to change products, because in all those years we came up with marvelous plastic products, but nobody asked us to produce recyclable products. So nowadays, the first thing is we have to design products. We have to design recyclable products. If we have recyclable products, then okay, how to recycle? And then we have the problem of different polymers. So the process of recycling always means that we have to sort the used plastics. And to sort the used plastics is quite difficult. But even on that, we do have some good ideas. And the idea is to digitalize the scrap. So that by digital information, the used plastic products can be sorted out and can be brought into real good quality fractions, so that we, for example, then have pure PP used plastics and make a perfect PP recycling products. So yeah, this is what it should be and what the main problem are. But let me add one thing. Why does the plastic world? Why do the converters not change to all this? Why don't they make recycling processes? Why do they install or make new products? The easy question is because that costs money. A virgin-made product is more cheap than a recycled product. And I have to add that the recycled product might not have the 100% function, but will have a good enough function on 87%. So how can we make the industry, the converters, push them to make recycled and to bring recycled products into the markets? And I hate to say, I'm a private entrepreneur, and I don't like state to be too much in my business. But what we need is regulations. We need laws that, for example, that there are strong laws that say, okay, you have to have 30% in the beginning, maybe 10, 15, 30% of recycled materials in your product. And then suddenly recycled products get a special value, and they have to integrate this. So in Europe, some of these laws are already in force, and in 25, some of these things have to happen. But these do hinder the big move and successes in the recycling in this important subject of recycling.
We're going to talk a little bit about technology now, and I think first a sort of a related technology question to what we were just talking about. You were very enthusiastic this week when you were talking about digitalization of waste and how that can help make sortation of used plastic better. It sounded to me like the solution. There's various solutions going on right now. You highlighted one. There are others, and I think they're probably going to work together in the end. And it seemed that there's really some promise for technology to have a role in helping to sort used plastic products so that it does have value, so that you can have materials that really are the same and then recycle them together.
Yes, and when we did sit in this conference, I talked about this. I think the solution. No, let me explain. If we have single-use plastics on a big hill, these are so many different plastics, and it's a big mess. So how to sort the PE and the PP and the PET and see what is barrier, what is non-barrier, what is printed, what is not printed. So what you can do by view is, okay, bottles are PET. So the bottles is good product, and they can be sorted out perfectly because they're all PET. But all the others you cannot do by touching or by seeing or by identifying. So this our idea was we have to digitalize. We have to digitalize each and every product. So each and every product has to have a marker, and this marker has up there in the cloud a digital twin to this product. And when the sorting machine is having a view, an automatic view on this, it will get the marker and get the information out of this cloud and say, okay, yes, I'm a PE product, and I have a second PE, and I have a special water-based ink, and I'm perfectly to be recycled. So put me in batch A, where PE can then go into very nice and problem-free recycling. So the idea is we have to digitalize each and every product, and I'm now talking mainly about the single-use products. And this in my opinion, is a solution, and we are promoting. And on K, you can experience and see how we are. All this, the digitalization of plastic products, of single-use plastic products, is not a vision. We do have a strong program, and it's working. We do have pilots working, and on my opinion, this can be a solution for the problem, because the problem is sorting out into pure batches that we can do the recycling.
Okay. So I was going to ask a question about what new technologies are you excited to see, and we'll give you an opportunity to add to those. I first wanted to give my answer. I think the fun thing about K for me is that other trade shows have injection molding machines and they have robots, and those are fun to see. I like K because there's running extrusion machines, there's blow molding machines, there's thermoforming machines, even it's converting machines, printing machines. It's an opportunity to see the variety, the great variety of all kinds of plastics processing machinery all in one place. And it's something that makes it, it's always special to me to walk into the hall and see multiple blown film machines all running at once. And it's like, oh, this is fun. So Petra, what technologies are you excited to see?
Well, actually, I'm excited to see all of them, because also the developments on the material side and technology side. And I look forward, it's very fascinating. Even you build up on these huge towers for the film production are being built up here, and it takes a long while, and it's really fascinating to see how step by step these machines are being assembled, and and they are running all this time for the 8 days. It's really fascinating, and I'm looking forward really to see what the discussions we had in 2019 on the show about circular economy, and now the discussions on climate protection as well as circular economy, and the steps that have been taken in the meantime, and the new steps that will be discussed and develop here on the show floor, in the meetings and discussions between the experts. So I'm really fascinated to see the next steps that come out of this platform K for the future for the industry. It's such a dynamic and innovative industry. So with all the challenges, I'm really looking forward to see what's going to happen, the vision for the future that will be formulated here, and so I can't wait. Actually.
Right. We wish that the show was next week, not in October. Mr. Effenhauser, what new technologies are you most interested in seeing?
Sorry. Honestly speaking, this K is the best marketplace for our technology. And just imagine that we are not talking about extrusion or injection moldings, but we talk about cars like Mercedes, Audi, BMW, and cars like this. So when we, let's say, as Audi come to the show, we want to see, oh, what did Mercedes or what did BMW do, or Audi. So it's the little pieces, the little improvements, because always these shows are Olympics. You try a little better, a little bit better, a little bit faster, a little bit more precise. You change the design. So this is in the very first round the most important thing. Then, yes, for sure. The next important thing is we love to see and meet old customers, old friends, and yeah, most hopefully, and we always do get new customers, new people from far away. This is what I'm looking for, and yes, for sure, the big subjects like recycling, like climate protection, and yeah, these big overall subjects. They are so important, and we always get new impulses, new ideas. And when we come back from the show, yes, we have a lot of projects and a lot of new ideas, because this kind of marketplace gives you so much impetus and new ideas, and it's perfect. It's the best place for the plastic industry worldwide.
It is nice to see old friends and to make new contacts as well. Not just the technology. K is known for technology. This is the show where companies introduce new technology, and then for the next 3 years they'll be rolling it out globally, and people will. But if you want a chance to see it first, you need to come in October to see it at K. I think we're going to wrap up now. Before we do, I would like to just take the opportunity to once again congratulate Mr. Reifenhauser on being inducted to the Plastics Hall of Fame this year. It's really a pleasure for me to be speaking with two experts on the global plastics industry. They know so much, they know so many people, and they're really a lot of expertise. So I do recommend that our viewers connect with them. And as promised, here are their email addresses. And I'd also like to encourage you to connect with them on social media. So thanks very much for joining me today. And we'll see you all in October in Dusseldorf.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. It was a real pleasure and fun. See you at K.